Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to be with you here today.
Hey, Sarah.
Maybe we can just kick off with an introduction to this incredible series. For people who don't know anything about Malpractice, what can they expect?
Well, Malpractice follows the story of Dr. Lucinda Edwards and a fateful night at work for her. She is overlooking A&E and sadly a patient dies under her watch of an opiate overdose, and we are tasked with investigating that. Yeah, that's as much as I can say. Can you add
That's
more?
it, exactly. Yeah. So it follows this wonderful A&E doctor, and as Jordan says, has one fateful night at work, and things unravel from there. And my name's Helen. I play Dr. Norma Callahan.
I'm Jordan. I play George.
I'm Jordan. I play Jordan.
Yeah, I play Jordan. Jordan, I just play Jordan.
And we are. We don't look like we're up to it right now, but we are the head. Investigation team looking into the events of that night.
Yeah.
And I believe, the script written by a former NHS worker.
Yeah.
I mean, there is so much authenticity, it feels like, in the series. But also this feeling of it being kind of a real nail-biting thriller.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't, unfortunately, been able to watch all the way to the end, but already what I've seen, you think it's going in one direction and it starts going in another.
He flips, yeah.
So how did you feel when you first read that script, and what was the appeal for you both coming on board?
Do you want to go first?
Do you? I don't mind.
I'll hold the mic, you go.
Strangers in the night. Sorry. So what the appeal for this script, the appeal for this job for me was initially the script. Grace, as you say, is a former A&E doctor, and her writing, I mean, it's amazing to me that somebody can be so dual skilled with such perfection, to be such a great doctor and then to write such an incredible script.
It's annoying, isn't it?
It's annoying. We're sick of it.
Honestly.
People doubly talented. But she is so good at her job that her writing is exactly that, so authentic. Very often with medical dramas, you question whether the people that have written them have ever seen the inside of a hospital. Particularly for me, I have a medical background. Before I was an actor, I was a nurse, and so I watch intently medical, not regularly watch medical dramas. I don't like watching them too much because I lived that life, but it certainly upsets me when I watch it and things don't feel honest. This is not some regular drama about this or that. It's about real people's lives. I mean, it's fictional characters, some of them, but what's portrayed in this series happens to people, and I think certainly given what's happened over the last 3 years, people are going to be heavily invested at looking at this drama play out. Doctors are incredible human beings, but they are just that, human beings. They have these godlike powers, but they're flawed and they make mistakes. And I think we're going to see in this series their humanity. It's really well portrayed. And so for me, the script was like reading a great novel or watching a great series. I could see it all play out, and I was just flying through the pages. What's next? What's next? And even I was saying earlier, when I'm watching myself on screen, generally I'm kind of looking at my wrinkles and my nose and my critiquing myself. With this, it's very rare you can watch something and forget that you're up there, that you're so ensconced in the story, and that's absolutely what happened with this. It's so good. But Phil, I think, our director, Phil Barantini, he's got such a great eye, and knowing his work from Boiling Point, the chance to work with him was a huge draw.
Massive.
So seeing the authenticity of the script, just the incredible heart it has, and the drama and the stories that unfold, it was like reading the greatest book. So it was a no-brainer. I just, please let me be involved, and it panned out. And then to get to meet George and work with him just made, was the cherry on the cake. It was.
Ditto. Everything she said. For me, it was, the authenticity Grace brought to it. I mean, it's already been mentioned about 1 million times, but her being a doctor, her having experienced all those things, unfortunately, even the really, really bad stuff too, just made the twists and turns and surprises of the series kind of doubly impactful. Yeah, that's what drew me in. And Phil.
Yeah.
Phil.
Phil.
Oh, Phil.
Well, I was saying about Phil, because I've spoken to him on the red carpet before, and he has this unbelievably calming demeanour. Yet the content he makes is so stressful.
Yeah.
So I wonder what was it like, kind of on set? What was the atmosphere like, and how you kind of, did it feel stressful to produce, or did he bring that calming atmosphere?
So I think from the top down, if the person at the top is stressed, it feeds everything that happens underneath. And from the first day I met Phil, he makes you feel like, don't worry, this is easy, it's going to be great. He's excited about it.
Yeah.
He's totally invested, and you get that straight away. You just want to be in that realm and jump on board with that mindset and that concept. So everybody that came in was brought in for a reason, because every department was so brilliant at their job. I think he was very careful in the team that was put together. I think they were super smart about the way they did it. And so because some elements of this story were true to Grace, there's an onus on you as an actor to give that justification and to tell the truth of it. And so for that reason we became more invested. I think I certainly did. And it could potentially be a very hectic set, but because of Phil's demeanour and his vision, he knows, like with great clarity what he wants to do. And then as an actor, kind of with all this heavy medical jargon, it can be so difficult. He said, let's run this take, and we run it. And he says, right, that's great that we have that. Now go rogue. This was our favourite thing. He'd say, go rogue, and we'd do the same take again, and he'd just let us have at it. And sometimes little bits of gold were picked up there. So he's got you don't get that freedom with a lot of directors. So he was really a joy to work with. We looked forward to going to work, to see what was going to happen. And so any potential stress was talked out, and any medical advisors, that support network was there. So you felt completely safe, and you felt like whatever this thing that I'm shitting this big scene, or it's going to be this or that, it was all up for discussion. It was all, we could talk about it all, and then you knew you had the freedom to get there with it. So he made it very easy. And I think absolutely, if his demeanour was any other way, it would have been very stressful. Because he is who he is, it was a joy. Over to you. Back to the studio.
Again, what she said. I
Come on, you
can't.
want to answer first.
Honestly. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to repeat exactly what you said.
It's your
the space, because obviously it's my first job as well, first TV job. So yeah, it's great. It's fun. It's
phenomenal that you pulled that out of the bag.
okay, that's nice. But that's due to you and due to the crew, and especially due to Phil, because nothing was precious. It didn't feel like that. Even for something with such serious subject matter, it felt relaxed, and it felt, dare I say, fun at times. Like I don't know, the sets, like laxness and sort of chill vibes didn't translate to the screen, which I'm so happy about, because I was worried about. Sometimes it's like, oh, we're having too much fun with this, but
no, when the cameras were rolling, it was all business.
Yeah, all business.
And I think I'm almost out of time, but just if you could say a few words, particularly about Niamh's performance, because I think it's resting quite heavily on her bringing out this real nuance. And I think what you were saying there at the beginning about bringing out the humanity and really putting yourself in the shoes of these people, because her interactions with all the different characters, your sympathies shift. Should we be on her side, or should we be judging her more harshly? And how her performance really delivers that nuance.
Yeah. Listen, it's been said, a million times before, and obviously if you haven't been living under a rock for the past couple of years, you notice these things about the NHS. It's a tough job, man. It's a hard job. It's a high intensity, high stakes, high risk, and low reward profession. So,
very little reward.
It's a difficult thing to portray, and I feel like the script aided all of us in bringing that world to life, and I'm just proud of everyone's work on it. I really am.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I think that huge pressure is placed on doctors to perform at a high level, at high speed and high intensity, and to have all the answers. And they don't always have all the answers. And I think that, the situation, as you said, over the last few years has shown the public what pressure doctors are under. Our government, yet, are not fully on board with the reward that's required for those fields. And I think what this series will do, and does so perfectly, is show the audience that these are human beings and they're flawed and they're trying their best. And I think that Niamh absolutely does encapsulate that, and shows, her weakness and her vulnerability, and she's trying to get through. She's trying to survive like everybody. And I think, as you said, Jordan, we all do our research and we all do our homework, but we were so very lucky with Grace's script, because there was no guesswork. It was all fact and so beautifully written that our job was just to give it honesty and humanity. And I think that we all did that. And I think that, hopefully the audience will feel that empathy for the human being behind the doctor.
Absolutely. That's a good note to stop on. Thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Thank you.
Cannot wait for everyone else to get stuck into this incredible series. Thank you.
It's so good.
So good.
So good.